So one of my to-do lists on my way out of Dubai a few weeks ago was to try Guerlain's Vanilla Planifolia. I had tried without any success to try it locally here in Ghana, so I was super excited to get my nose on it and let you know what I think in comparison to something like Vanilla Florel from Volare. I mean, Vanilla Planifolia is a very hype fragrance, and I've had my nose on this one for a while, which I love and adore. It was a slow start, when it comes to this particular fragrance for me. I remember doing my unboxing with my friend Portia. At the time, the two of us could barely smell anything. But after a week or two, this has blossomed into a very beautiful vanilla spicy scent. And so I'm going to compare it to one of the latest releases from Maison Asrar, Golf Orchid. This is Vanilla Aura. It's super hyped up, and I had to get my nose and my hand on it. So I'm going to compare Golf Orchid or Maison Asrar's Vanilla Aura. I think I love the bottle. It's so intricate and a sort of old school vibes, with the design. I'm going to compare it to Vanilla Florel from Volare. The two here are supposedly inspired by that almighty famous Vanilla Planifolia. And from what I can remember, when I tried Vanilla Planifolia, immediately it felt like a soft, spicy vanilla. I never even got the spices at the initial stages. It just felt like a very beautiful, soft, well blended. Of course, for the price, you cannot expect anything no less. Very beautiful, pure vanilla essence. Give me that with a hint of spice. I didn't get the spice until they dried down. I was like, okay, even the one that I have here in my mind at that time, I was like, oh, even vanilla floral seemed a little more spicy. At the time I tried it. But when I put the Tesla strip in my pocket after my 8-hour flight back to Ghana, I could still smell vanilla planifolia, and I could get the spices a lot more, after aging for a while or sitting on me for a while. It's a spicy, beautiful vanilla, essentially. That is what it is. So I'm giving you my thoughts on these two. This I've had for about 2 months, and this is fairly new. So let me start off with this one, which includes the following notes. It has a note of bourbon vanilla, but bourbon vanilla CO2. There is also vanilla extract, there is spices, and then there is musk and amber. And when it comes to Maison Ashress vanilla aura, it seems to have a very different note structure, which even includes some notes of chocolate. It has bergamot, lily of the valley, there is lemon, there is vanilla, caramel, and chocolate in the middle, and then there is sandalwood, vanilla, amber, and then oak at the base. So, notes wise or note structure wise, these two are entirely different, note structure. However, I find the similarities between these two, and I'll let you know which of them, in my opinion, is a better alternative to the original Vanilla Planifolia. I tried it just once, had the Tesla strip in my pocket for my journey to Ghana, and I could smell it after my 8-hour flight back home. In these two scenarios, I would say this. When you originally get this one, Vanilla Aura, it is not immediately going to remind you of Vanilla Planifolia. From what I remember, scent memory wise, it didn't immediately remind me of Vanilla Planifolia. There's something quite much more ambery and much more wax. There's something like a waxy undertone I got on the first day, but it tones down, it mellows, it goes away. It's quite new, and I'm expecting that waxy undertone to sort of fizzle out, because even after a few days, this one is gone down considerably. It's not going to immediately give you that essence of that slightly spiced vanilla that I got from the original Vanilla Planifolia. In my opinion, when it comes to the vanilla, I think Vanilla Florel from Volare has more of that vanilla essence to it. It is much more vanilla heavy as compared to Maison Ashress, variation. This one feels a lot more ambery, a lot more, let's say, woody, a lot more balsamic, and this one is more out there. That is one of the major difference I find between the two. Even the juice would tell you it's much more ambery and resonance. It gives me that. Whilst this one is more, they are all vanilla heavy. Vanillas are ambery, and both are very ambery. But this one gives me a pictorial feel of I'm just trying to create a pictorial feel of what this one is. Very ambery, just like how the juice itself, looks like. And there's a little bit of a waxy undertone. So when it comes to being vanilla heavy for it, I'm going to give it to Vanilla Florel. In the same breath, this one feels a lot more spicier. I remember testing the original Planifolia, and I didn't get the spice immediately. In my mind, I was like, oh, even Florel feels a lot more spicy. Even till this day, I believe Florel is the spiciest of the three, in my opinion, from my word test. This one feels a lot more spicy than the original one, as well as this one. Even from the jump start, you're getting the spices and the vanilla. But when it comes to this, it is toned down in terms of the spiciness. It's a little more smoother in terms of the spicy nuances in this one. If at some point I even thought this one had a note of ginger, because there's this sort of cardamom gingery feel. It gives me a sort of ginger spice sort of feel, but apparently there's no ginger at all. So this one comes across as a little more spicy to me as compared to Vanilla Aura from Maison Asrar, and then even the original one. In essence, this one feels a lot more louder. Vanilla Florel feels a lot more louder than the original Planifolia, as well as Maison Asrar's Vanilla Aura. This one is one that I foresee needing a bit more time to maturate, develop, age. Whereas this one also was very light, but the blend of this one from the initial start was very good. I feel like there's something a little off, just slightly so off about Vanilla Aura that needs to sit. That is not to say it is not a beautiful fragrance, but I think it needs to sit a little to sort of tone down that waxy feel. I just feel like it needs to sit down for a while for that waxy undertone sort of feel to fizzle out. So I feel it comes across as a little, there's something about it that feels like it needs to sit for a while. And this one aged and became a lot more prominent over time, but there was nothing, that waxy feel, I didn't get it from the initial start. I guess that I thought it was a little too soft. I couldn't smell much, but after a week or two, this is not beast mode, but it's sort of lingers. It's really long lasting, 24 hours plus. Even on skin, it's one of those that lasts on skin for at least 6 to 7 hours. On skin, up to 6 to 7 hours. On clothes, eternal. This longevity wise, as I say, it is still quite new, but longevity wise, it is a little lower as the one I find in this one. I get more hours in Vanilla Floral than I get in Vanilla Aura. However, scent wise, initial spray is not going to give you immediate Vanilla Planifolia. It is the dry down and the dry down, and for that matter, that deepest dry down that are going to get that spicy Vanilla Floral, Vanilla Planifolia feel. It's going to give you that at the deepest dry down, but the initial brush is going to be something a little waxy, a little more ambery, a little more toned down in terms of the spices, a little more tamed in terms of the vanilla. It's much more ambery sort of feel. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but for some reason, it's giving me an ambery, vanillas are ambery for the most part, from what I understand, but it's giving me more of a less intense vanilla as compared to this. If you have not tried this one and you are comparing this one with the original one, you would definitely find the similarities. But if you are comparing these three, you would notice that this Vanilla Flora from Volare is the spiciest of the three, including the original one. It feels like the spiciest of them all. This one apparently has the note of chocolate. I, for one, do not really pick up anything chocolatey. Both are gourmand, but very wearable, spicy vanillas, spicy ambery vanillas. But I don't think I'll consider this one as a chocolate scent per se. I don't really pick up that chocolate sort of feel. It's basically an ambery, spicy vanilla, but with less of the spice as compared to the spice I find in this one and even the original one. So in my opinion, I would say Florel is a very vanilla Florel from Maison Asrar from Volare is a very beautiful scent. It's a more much more on steroid sort of feel to the original Vanilla Planifolia, although not the beast mode. It still gives me a much more louder feel or version of the original one. The spices are a lot more intense as compared to the original one from the test I remember. Whereas this one feels a lot more toned down in terms of the spices, and the vanilla is not as, it doesn't really, it's the vanilla is heavy, but in comparison to this, you're getting much more vanilla in this floral as compared to aura. Beautiful scent nonetheless. You don't need both. You honestly do not need both, in my opinion. You don't. I would say this personally. Personally, my preference is going to be vanilla Florel. This is not bad at all. And as I say, this is quite new, so I'm waiting on it to macerate. But it's a very beautiful vanilla with a slight spicy undertone and some woodiness. This one feels a little more woody, in my opinion, as compared to Florel, from Volare. Both are beautiful. The dry down is where you're getting that vanilla planifolia vibe the most. But the beginning is not going to give you an exact that, especially if it is a new bottle or a newer bottle. It has to sit for a few days before you can appreciate that vanilla planifolia, spicy, ambery vanilla, feel of the original one in this one. But nonetheless, a very beautiful, still a very beautiful vanilla spicy scent, in my opinion. And that is going to be my comparison for these two. I mean, you can blind buy them. They are both very blind buy safe fragrances, very blind buy safe, very beautiful, dressed up, dressed down, effortless, non foodie sort of gourmand, vanillas, but very beautiful. You can It's mixed well with so many fragrances. You can layer it with several. It goes like they both go with several fragrances. That sort of feel that fragrance like Vanilla 28 gives you, that you can layer with basically everything as a topper. That is the same feel I'm getting from these two. They layer beautifully with so many several fragrances on their own. They are amazing. Yeah, they are amazing on their own too. And that is going to be my take on these two beautiful fragrances. I say test them if you are not into spicy vanilla. They feel a little more grown and a little less fun. They feel a little less fun as compared to your everyday girly, it feels like a dressy sort of, vanilla sort of type, in my opinion. And that is going to be my take on these two beautiful vanilla scents. And yeah, I hope this video found you well. Let me know what you think in the comment section if you have come across these two fragrances, or even if it's just one of them and your take on how they compare with the original one. The original one is beautiful, but I guess feel this one comes across as a little more spicy. But the quality of the original one, of course, you cannot compare to any of these two. But quality wise, I think they are both good. But this one needs to sit for a little while. And that is going to be it for today. And I hope this video found you well. So please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. And I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.